crafty friend, it's Justine Dvorak from Stationery by Justine, where when I craft, my world stands still. I today am going to try to do a video and do the voiceover at the same time, or not even voiceover, but work and chat as we go. We'll see how this goes. I haven't done that style video in a long time. So you're going to hear the crinkling of the package. You're going to hear all the fun little sounds. But the star of the show today is going to be this stamp set called Beach Huts Stamps. This is from Pajama Crafter Stamps. If you haven't checked out their website, I will have this linked down below. They're a great small business to support. And I just want to give a shout out to the illustrator, Michelle. She drew these designs. It's just incredible. And another great stamp set that pairs very nicely with this one is the See You Soon stamps. So definitely check them out, and we're going to make something really fun today. And I pulled out this pattern paper that I had in my stash because I'm going to try to match the wood on the beach huts with this pattern paper. And I thought that that would be kind of fun, beachy vibes. We're going to do some masking today, some Copic coloring. So I hope that you're all here for it. Alrighty. Well, on my scene, I have some of this paper. Now, this paper I'm using is called Express It. You've probably heard of it if you have done alcohol marker work, but super, super smooth, and it's perfect for Copic coloring. So I've cut that down to 3 3/4 by 5 because I want a chunky edge for my cards because I don't want to just hide the pattern paper there. I might even cut it down just a little bit more. We'll see. We'll see how my scene looks, and then we'll chop later if we need to. All right, for scene building, my first tip is to start with the front. Sorry, not sure what happened with my camera there, but when I mean start with the front, I mean start with the foreground. So what's going to be in the front, or the front of the scene, if you will. And my other tip is to use a MISTI or a stamp positioning tool of your choice. So I'm going to grab my mini MISTI. She's looking gorgeous because she's gotten a deep clean. If you know, you know. If you don't, just know there was a duck egg involved. Yes, I just said duck egg. Alrighty. I want to use all of the things that I can with this stamp set because it's just gorgeous. I've used the beach huts a few times now on other projects. You can check them out on my Instagram if I have access to the pictures when I'm editing. I will pop that in, but I'm just going to kind of lay it out on my vision here. Okay, I think that's kind of the vision I'm going for. Let's just close this and then pretend that this is the card. So I'm going to have the beach huts in the back. I'm going to have this on the left with my little log here. I might even just overlap this just for fun interest. I think we're going to do that. And then, should we use the little shells? I don't know. I think I'm going to skip the little shells this time, even though they are super cute. Okay, and then what's my sentiment? Because I always forget about my sentiment. So let's do warm birthday wishes. Yeah, we're going to do that. So I'm going to need to make sure that this is moved over so we can have that happen. Oh, I might even do some... Should I do some ink blending? I'm going to do all the things today. This is probably going to be a long video, so hopefully you're here for it. Okay. I think we're going to do ink blending too, because that's just... It's just on my brain today. And like I said, I just have a little bit of a desire to work on this today. So we're going to do that. I'm going to put my little log here first. And we'll get that stamped out. Now I have not used the log or the sign, the wooden board sign yet. So I'm just going to kind of rub it with my hands. That's what I would do with any new stamp that comes to my craft room. It's just to get some of the, like the factory stuff off of the stamp. It has nothing to do with your hands. I've heard people say that there's this special thing that's in your hands that makes it better. No, you're just rubbing off something. It's no big deal. All right, we have Memento, black ink, Copic color friendly, of course. So we're just gonna stamp this out like so. I should probably grab my little tool that my hubby made. I don't know why I just called him hubby. I never call him hubby. All right. I don't think I need to stamp that twice. Hooray. And then I'm going to take this little stamp, close that up, and set it off to the side. And we're going to make some masks here. We might as well just do all the masks first and get them out of the way. So this is some masking paper from my stash. I'll link it down below if I can remember. Okay. Got a little bit on my corner there, so I'm just going to wipe it off. And this basically is a low-tax sticker. So hold on, the log goes this way. I guess it really doesn't matter the direction of the log. Oh boy, I'm going to have to fussy cut out that shell. Maybe we won't do ink blending. Maybe we'll do Copic coloring on the back. Honestly, both are a little bit challenging for me, but why not stretch your brain? Stretch your brain. Okay, I don't think I'm going to need a mask for this. No, I won't need a mask for the huts because that's in the back. We'll need a mask for the ink sign. By mask, I don't mean like surgical doctor mask. It's just what this process is called when you are covering one part of your stamp up. And there will be fussy cutting involved. If you don't like fussy cutting, just take your masking paper like this over to your Scan and Cut if you have a Scan and Cut, and just let the robot do the work for you. I do have a video on my channel that is how I use my Scan and Cut. Now, if you don't have the same version as I do, mine is discontinued, but I do find it pretty helpful to especially mass produce items. All right. Well. We need my scissors that are spring loaded. So I'm just going to cut roughly around here like so. And then I'm going to fussy cut out both things. The shell probably will be separate. And I'm going to put on some music. So I will film this, but you won't hear me and it will be sped up because I'm simply just cutting out a sticker basically. All right, now that I have my masks all finished, I am going to put them on. And all you do basically is take the release paper off and then you stick it right on your project. And you can reuse these masks, which I think is kind of a cool little tidbit. So when you're done, don't throw them away. What I like to do is I like to put them on the back of my stamp set in the packaging so it's protected. Now getting these off is a little bit tricky. Another fun and maybe more doable way to do this is to use a Post-it note that have the full coverage sticky on the back, except like a little skinny little line. I have those as well, and I think that they work well. You kind of have to be careful because like one time I turned my project from, I was using it with the High Five set from Pajama Crafter Stamps, and I had a cat, and I used a pink Post-it note on there, and then all of a sudden I was working on the background and doing some like ink blending and splattering, and the project just got very, very wet. And the color from the pink Post-it note, that is, made my cat turn pink, which was fine because I ended up making it a really fun card. So it was kind of like one of those Bob Ross happy accident moments. But I just want to mention that because if you don't want a pink wooden log, something to note. All right, now that I have my mask on, I'm going to put my wooden sign here. It's not really going to cover too much, but just enough. Actually, I don't think it will cover anything, but that's fine because the little bird up here is going to cover it, and then we're going to do some ink blending on the background. So it was worth all of the fussy cutting. Okay, next is the sign. And so we'll stick that on to the background here with some ink. Let me know in the comments if you are a beach person. I live in Minnesota, so what I know as a beach are the lakes. And I love a lake. I don't always love what's under the water, snapping turtles and biting fish, but you know, it's not sharks. Okay, now that that stamp has been stamped onto my project, I'm going to put the mask for that over it, and that should at least protect where my little birdie is, and then I'll put the beach huts over that. Also, let me know in the comments if you have tried this masking technique before and what you think about it. Maybe I'll do the sentiment "see you soon" from the other stamp set. I don't know. It's undetermined at the time. But these are the things that go through my mind as I'm picking off the release tape. Then I'll place that directly on top of the sign. I'm just going to get my head over it. I like to call my head my noodle. Gotta get your noodle over it. Okay, and then my little birdie. Very good. Okay, we're looking good. Looking beachy. Then we'll put the houses here. And I think I'm going to just offset them a little bit. I do want the chairs to not be behind the bird, but I don't mind if the pail is. So I'm going to move my card background over. And we're going to kind of hide that pail, I think. Or I can just stamp it like this, and then we'll cover it up. More techniques to share. Isn't that fun? All right. So to do that, I'm going to use a teeny bit of that masking stuff. You know what? I'll just use a Post-it note because that is quicker and it doesn't need to be perfect or cut out or anything for this part of the technique. And as a teacher, I feel like I have Post-it notes coming out of my eyeballs sometimes. So, okay. That was weird to say. Sorry. Okay. Just going to put that there for when I'm inking, and then I'm going to rip it off when it's time to stamp. So we'll just ink it up. I've totally closed my MISTI at this point before, but I am going to rip this off. Ta-da! And now nothing should stamp where that little bucket was. Perfect. Okay, now, oh, wait a minute. I am going to need a mask if I'm going to do an ink blended background. Okie dokie. Well, better get to do that now. I'm going to take my little beach huts off of my Misty. We'll put them on my stamp block, and we will make a third mask. My background better be super cute for all of this, all these masking layers. I think it better. I think it should. Anyway, whoa. Let me just throw everything around. I think it'll be mostly some tans and browns for sand. That makes sense to my brain. All right. And for this mask, it's not going to be a perfect mask. I just basically want it to cover up the houses. So I probably will even fussy cut out each little, not house, but each little hut separately and place them over each other that way. And leave these little grassy areas as they are because they can have a sky behind them. So let's see, I'm going to cut this out like so. And then the starfish. Yeah, the starfish will need a mask too. Well, won't throw that one away. So I'm just going to cut out each little hut individually. If you are not a person who likes fussy cutting and you're still watching this part of the video, thanks for being here, friend. Hopefully this isn't too bad for you. Okay, that's the first hut. And then we're going to leave the beach ball on the mask as well because I want to Copic color that something and not have it just be blue and brown. Nobody wants a brown beach ball. Ooh. And then we'll just stick them on. Ink on the background, Copic color the stamped areas, and this is going to be all set. 1 and 2. And then these little, what are they called? Chairs. I'm going to kind of make it, we're going to kind of fussy the background a little bit. I'm not going to cut in between the two chairs because that seems a little bit extreme. Maybe I will. I don't know. I'll decide when I'm done cutting out the fourth hut. But that little area there has sand, or it should have sand. So we'll see. The bucket does not matter because the bucket's not in my finished project. Sorry, kids, there will be no bucket for you to play with. And yeah, I might as well cut out in between those. I don't want to have to match Copic colors to whatever ink blended background I have. That sounds more complicated than just cutting. And then, oh, my little starfish. Can't forget him. Him or her, whatever. Oh, this is teeny tiny. Okay. It's not going to be perfect because really all I need to do is cover up the area that will be white. So that's that is so tiny. Oh my goodness. All right. And then for this, I think I'm going to pop a hole with my reverse tweezers and then just cut it out from there. I could have probably used the tip of the scissors since these scissors are fairly sharp on the end. I don't love fussy cutting, but something like this, I think it's worth doing all the fussy cutting. And I know that I'm going to be using this stamp like a whole bunch of times because I think it's gorgeous. So having the mask done and knowing that I can reuse it will be super worth it to me. I probably won't reuse this starfish little piece because I doubt that that will be able to be saved, knowing me and my craft room, but that is life. All right, I'm going to take the release paper off and then we will come back for the ink blending. All right, party people. Everything has been masked off. And now I get to play with the background, which is kind of what I'm really excited about. Well, I'm actually really excited about matching these houses to that pattern paper, but I digress. Let's jump in. I think I'm going to do antique linen near the front. Vintage photo kind of blended in with that in some areas. And then for the sky, we're going to do salty ocean and tumbled glass. These are just what I have. There might be better colors for sand, but I always like to use what I've got. So that's what's up today. I'm just going to smushy around. This is going to be so fun when I take my masking off. And yes, I can still reuse these masks even if I get ink all over them, which I will be. Spoiler. I'm going to bring this up about a little bit more than halfway going across. And I'm hopefully not getting some harsh lines going on my background. So I'm just trying to start off of the card and bring it in, but my brain doesn't always do that. But a lot of people say that's what you're supposed to do. So take that with what you will. Okay, and then we're gonna grab vintage photo, my favorite brown. We'll just kind of bring that in. Oh yeah, that's definitely looking like sand. I'm glad that I masked off that little starfish there, so it will not be brown. That is kind of dark. Not loving that. So not sure what I'm doing here. We're just gonna add ink colors and see what happens. Sounds good? Maybe we'll add some lighter over that. I think it just got a little too dark in that corner. Perhaps it's worse now. I don't know. It's a beach. It's not supposed to be perfect anyway, right? Okay, and then I think I'm also going to add little water drops to this. I don't know if that is really the move. That is what I should do, but I'm going to. Okay, that looks good to me. Let's do the sky next. We'll start light and move down. I'm just going to wipe my brush off. I'm not someone who cleans their brushes. This is as much cleaning and effort that I like to put into that. I think, especially with oxides, it stays pretty pigmented for a while. So what's the point in washing them all the time? That's just my 2 cents, but you can let me know if you have differing opinions in the comments. Oh, that blue is just gorgeous. This is tumbled glass. Perfect for a scene that involves the sea. And then I think I'm just going to do a touch of this salty ocean. Really not much. Yeah, that'll do it. Okay, there's my background. Are you ready for the peel and reveal? This is the most satisfying part about doing masking. I'm going to put my brushes off to the side. So we'll do that. And then I'm just going to stick them right to the package. Isn't this fun? Are you having fun yet? I'm having fun. Look at that. It's ready for Copic coloring, and this I can use again. Even though it's inky, won't matter. My shell just ripped. It's fine. It's fine. Everyone calm down. We're good. That's backwards, whatever. And then we'll get this little shell off. I'm shocked that my starfish here survived all that vigorous ink blending. Not loving that little white dot there, but we're just going to make it work. And let's not even pretend that we're going to save that mask for the starfish because it's so tiny. And we have 1 hut, 2 huts, and the 4th hut. Isn't that cool? Oh, now I get to Copic color it. Now for taking this off, I always like to kind of take my whole grippy mat off and then I just roll this so it doesn't bend my project. I found that when I'm kind of aggressive and I just rip my project off of this, bad things happen. Okay, so that's all set. For my sentiment, I will be doing something in this area and I will be doing inking with... No, I better do that now. No, I'll do it later. We'll risk it. It's gonna be fine. Okay. Famous last words. Okay. So that blue is looking really cute with that patterned paper. So I'm loving that look. Let's see. For this part, I'm going to just kind of be quiet, fast forward a little bit, and I'll put on some music. You'll see me with the marker caps up and you'll see what colors I'm using. If you have any questions, just let me know in the comments. All right, my friends, this is where things could go very south very quickly, but I am nothing if I am not an impulsive crafter, and hopefully you know that by now. So what I'm going to do is we're going to do some water splatters. And if this turns out poorly, we're all going to learn from it, won't we? And I happen to have on my paintbrush still some of the watercolor perlite splatter. So it'll just be like sparkly splashes. It'll be just fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover up my sky area slightly. I'm not going to use those Post-it notes because I have learned my lesson. I'm going to grab something from my scrap bin here. Let's grab this. It's just some packaging for some paper. I don't really want the splatter on the sky, but I do want some texture for the beach. And Distress Oxides do work with water nicely. Okay, so I'm going to just tap, tap, tap. Here we go. I'm nervous. Are you nervous? Wait a minute. I'm going to have my sentiment there. Yeah, it'll be fine. I'm going to practice on the paper. Okay, yep, that's going to be fine. Deep breaths. Okay, I think the texture has just been bumped up like 100 points. Loving that. I am going to just blot it. I like that. Okay, okay, okay. All right, now I'm going to add some brown to this splatter situation because I think it needs, we need some, oh, phew. I thought I just put my ink pad corner on the, oh, phew. Okay, we're good, we're good, we're good. All right, I'm going to add some of that into the dark. Okay, and then we're going to just do the same thing again. Splatter, splatter, splatter. Should we go the other direction? Oh, this is turning out so cute. I'm loving it. Now looking back at this, should I have probably put the masks back on? The masks back on everything? Probably, but it's all good, my friend. Okay. How cute is that? I love it. Okay. All right, I'm going to just clean up my work surface. I'm going to let this dry for like 5 seconds or whatever. And then I'm going to stamp my sentiment on top, which really could be the craziest moment of it all. Because if that gets wrecked or ruined, I'm not going to be a happy gal. Okay, at first I thought I was going to do heat embossing on here. Plans have changed because I don't want to do that now. I want it to be a little bit more of a demure sentiment and kind of coordinate with what we've got going on in the background, which means I'm going to stamp it brown. I don't know why I just said it that way, but it's going to be brown. Let's see. Warm birthday wishes. Will that be? Yes, that will be perfecto. I do love Life is Better at the Beach, and I love the Love You to the Moon and Back. But birthday wishes, this warm birthday wishes is something I haven't used yet on this set. So today is the day. And it will just nest right in there. I'm just going to make sure that it's straight with sentiments. Either it has to be super wonky or it needs to be straight. If it's a little bit crooked, it bothers my eye and I don't like that. So now you know. Come on, stamp. All right, I'm just going to kind of use the grid on my Misty. Yep, that looks straight to me. Perfect. Then I have Distress ink. This is different than Distress oxide. Same color. Oxide is different than ink. You can even see by looking at the ink pads. Way different. I'm going to use the ink because it is darker. And I probably will stamp twice for this sentiment just so it is crisp. I guess we will just have to see what the first stamp looks like and then we'll go from there. I am loving this stamp set though. Well done, Michelle, the illustrator, and Joy for Pajama Crafter Stamps, the owner of Pajama Crafter Stamps. I'm trying to be super casual and not pretend like this could go horribly wrong. That looks so good. Oh, I'm loving it. Did you also notice the white gel pen I put over that little beach sign? I accidentally covered that in or colored that in. But the white gel pen saved my card once again. Okay, we'll just give that a little wipe down. Don't know where my cloth went. There it is. I try to say cloth and not rag, because my little Minnesota accent really comes out with that vowel. The rag. Ugh. Rag. Rag. I will stop now. Okay. I think I like it better this way or this way. Does it need a frame? I feel like it needs a little frame. I'm going to do a skinny white frame around this. I think it's calling for a frame. Give me a frame, please. I have some super thick cardstock. This is 130 pound heavyweight cardstock. It's my favorite weight of a cardstock to make card bases with, but I don't often make card bases with it because, frankly speaking, my hands get very, very, very sore. That was 3 varies if you were counting. When I use it. Hold on. We need this to be, this is 5 1/4 or 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So this needs to be 4 by, hold on. I am needing to use my noodle a little bit here. I'm just gonna use my pencil to figure it out. Okay, I just want a skinny frame, right? So there and there. You know what they say about you use it or you lose it? I feel that way about some of my math skills in the summer. I am not thinking about my math brain as much. Okay, let's go over those dimensions because you might want to know them. So this is A2, so 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And then this is going to be a little bit smaller. I didn't want to cover up as much of that background, but I do want a border on this. So it is a little bit smaller. Yeah, that looks good, right? Yeah. So this is, lift it up a little. This is 3 3/4 by 5 inches. And then this is, where's my 5? It's just almost 5 1/8. It's like halfway in between a 16th and an 1/8 by 3 and, wait, this is the other side. It's just shy of 4 inches, basically. We're just going to put it that way. Mathematicians are screaming in the comments. Okay. I took a little bit of a coffee break in between doing what I just did and right now. And I came back to this card, and doesn't this look like the sentiment? Doesn't the sentiment look like it is like a message written in the sand Maybe I'm a little delulu, but I think that that looks just like that. And it's making me happy. So if you have liked this video or learned anything, please go ahead and hit the like button. I would love for you to subscribe and watch other videos. Pajama Crafter Stamps has lots of awesome stamps and great products. I always am recommending people, especially in this time, to shop small. So if you need like a glue refill, or if you want like an easy light from Pear Blossom Press, shop it on the Pajama Crafter Stamps website because they sell a lot of that stuff there. And you will make someone's day when you shop small business, especially if you buy from Pajama Crafter Stamps. First of all, if you use my link, that helps me. So I really do appreciate that. Second of all, even if you don't use my link, if you shop a small business of any kind, it helps so much, and it makes somebody's day. I guarantee you the owner of that business gets excited when an order comes in. So I challenge you to shop small in some way, maybe today or this week, even if it's something that you would typically run to Amazon for or run to Walmart. Buy something small, even if it has nothing to do with crafting. I would always recommend that. And if you do, send me a little message or something. And if you are a small business owner, let's talk about this for just a second. Promote your small business in the comments of this video. Now, I've done this before on a live where someone popped on my live and said, oh, I own she called it an apothecary. Apothecary, is that how you say it? I'm not sure if that's exactly the right way to say it, but she put her name of her business on there, and she had some sales after my live, and I thought that that was really sweet. And to say thank you, she sent me this this lip balm and some lotion, and I have been using it, loving it. I just want to shout out all the small businesses as much as possible, but Pajama Crafter Stamps has a special place in my heart, basically because of the owners. The owners, specifically Joy, she took a chance on me. I had never been on a design team ever. And she took a chance on me and allowed me to be on her design team in 2024, the beginning of 2024. Didn't really know me that much, and I am very thankful for that chance and the friendship. So, long story short, shop small, subscribe. Also subscribe to the Pajama Crafter Stamps YouTube channel. I am part of the video design team that's over there on the Pajama Crafter Stamps YouTube channel, and there's some great people who are doing videos on there, as well as Joy herself, the owner of the company, doing lives. You know that crafting matters to someone who's a business owner when they actually craft, and Joy is someone who does that. So we'll just leave it at that. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments, or if you have any tips that I missed about stamping with stencils, just let us know in the comments and we can all learn from each other. Other than that, I do want to invite you to 2 Facebook groups. First of all, the Stationery Maker group on Facebook. That's my group that I started. I love seeing your projects on there. So if you stamp with any company that is reputable, so no like Temu or anything weird like that, but any decent company out there, if you make something, post your work. I want to see what you're working on. Second of all, join the Pajama Crafter Stamps and Friends Facebook group, and that is where you're going to find all inspiration for Pajama Crafter Stamps. So there's a great design team as well as a video team, and you're going to want to see all the makes, and people have made gorgeous things with this one stamp set. So like I said, everything will be linked down below, and we'll see you next time. And I really appreciate you watching all the way to the end, especially for this long chatty video. We'll see you next time. Bye, crafty friend.